If you've ever stared at your calendar or your inbox and thought, there is no way I can handle all of this, then you already know what it feels like to face a giant. Maybe your giant is a project at work, a tough boss, a difficult coworker, a stack of bills, or a big decision you keep putting off. In the next few minutes, I want to walk you through the famous Bible story of David and Goliath and show how it speaks directly into those overwhelming moments in our lives. The story takes place in ancient Israel. Two armies are facing each other from opposite hills, with a valley in between. On one side, the Israelites. On the other side, their enemies, the Philistines. And the Philistines have a secret weapon, a giant warrior named Goliath. He's huge, heavily armed, covered in armor. And every day, he steps out in front of both armies and shouts a challenge. He basically says, "Send me one man to fight. If he wins, we'll serve you. If I win, you serve us." Day after day, Goliath comes out and yells. And day after day, no one from Israel moves. Everyone sees the size of the giant, hears the sound of his voice, and they are terrified. Then, we meet David. David is not a soldier. He's the youngest son in his family, and his main job is taking care of sheep. One day, his father sends him to the battlefield to bring food to his older brothers and check on them. David shows up expecting a normal supply run, and instead walks into a scene of fear. He hears Goliath shouting, sees Israel's army shrinking back, and he just can't believe it. How can everyone be so afraid when they have God on their side? Word gets around that this young guy is asking questions, and eventually David is brought to King Saul. David volunteers to fight Goliath. Imagine that, a teenager, probably with no combat experience, standing in front of the king, saying, "I'll go." From a human point of view, it sounds ridiculous. Saul looks at David and basically says, "You're just a boy." He's been a warrior since he was young. But David has something else. He has a history with God. 8p. He explains that when he was watching his father's sheep, wild animals came, lions and bears, and tried to take the flock. David fought them off, and he says it was God who rescued him. His confidence isn't in his own strength, it's in God's faithfulness. Saul finally agrees to let him try, and offers David his own armor. Think about that picture. A young shepherd drowning in a king's armor. It doesn't fit. David can hardly move. He takes it off and decides to go with what he knows. He takes his staff, his sling, and picks up 5 smooth stones from a stream. While everyone else is thinking swords and spears, David walks out with a shepherd's tool and a few rocks. As he approaches, Goliath sees him and laughs. From the outside, it looks like a joke. This isn't a fair fight. Goliath is insulted that they would send a boy. He mocks David and curses him. But David doesn't back down. He talks back to the giant and basically says, "You come to me with weapons, but I come to you in the name of the Lord." For David, this isn't just about him and Goliath. It's about God showing that he's bigger than any giant. Then comes the moment we all remember. David takes a stone, puts it in his sling, and runs toward Goliath. He swings the sling and lets the stone fly. The stone hits Goliath right in the forehead. The giant falls, face down on the ground. Just like that, the battle is over. One stone, one step of faith, a completely different outcome than anyone expected. So what does this ancient story have to do with you? Sitting in your car? At your desk? Or doing chores while you listen? Most of us will never face a literal giant, but we face what feels like giants all the time. A giant can be anything in your life that feels too big, too heavy, too powerful, or too impossible to handle. There are 3 simple lessons we can pull from David's story. First, remember who is bigger. Everyone else only saw how huge Goliath was. David saw how huge God is. When we stare at our problems all day, they look bigger and bigger. But when we lift our eyes to God, we remember that He is stronger than our circumstances, wiser than our plans, and closer than we think. Just that shift in focus can change the way we walk into a meeting, answer a tough email, or face a difficult day. Second, use what you have. David didn't try to be someone else. He didn't pretend to be a seasoned warrior. He didn't force himself into armor that didn't fit. He used the tools he already knew, the skills he already had. In the same way, God doesn't ask you to become a different person overnight. He works through the skills, gifts, and experiences you already carry. Your kindness, your patience, your ability to listen, your problem solving, your creativity. These are your 5 smooth stones. Don't despise them, just because they seem small. In God's hands, small things can do big work. Third, take a step of faith. David still had to walk out onto that field. Faith is not just a feeling, it's movement. It's sending the email, making the call, having the hard conversation, applying for the job, starting the project, or asking for help while trusting that God is with you. Courage doesn't mean you feel no fear. It means you move forward while trusting God more than you trust your fear. So let me ask you, what's your Goliath right now? Maybe it's a situation at work that feels impossible. Maybe it's a financial challenge or a broken relationship. Maybe it's something inside you, like anxiety, shame, or doubt. Whatever it is, you don't have to face it alone, and you don't have to pretend to be someone you're not. You can come to God honestly and say, "This feels too big for me, but it's not too big for you." If you'd like, you can make this a simple prayer. God, you see the giant I'm facing. You know how small and unprepared I feel. Please remind me that you are bigger. Show me the stones you've already put in my hand. And give me the courage to take the next step. Thanks for taking a few minutes for this story from the Bible, for busy people. If this encouraged you, share it with someone who's facing a giant of their own. And if you want more short, simple Bible explanations that fit into a busy life, hit subscribe and join me for the next episode of Bible for Busy People.